YouTube, what's good? I personally want to thank you guys for checking into the latest installment here. I Wear Diadora, hosted by none other than yours truly, Mr. S8000 is King, Don Diadora. And in case you guys haven't noticed, it's time to be a little more vocal in this Diadora community. So if you haven't seen the first video that I dropped for 2019, which is the Corey Foes, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree with me, it was probably the most controversial release for Diadora to date. And again, if that was the most controversial pair, here today we have the second most controversial release for Diadora. So in a hence, if that was 1A, then this is definitely 1B. And if you guys aren't aware of which pair exactly I'm talking about, let me just get it out the way and show you guys before we jump into the review. It is none other than the N9000 Remix. Now, the reason these are being dubbed the Remix is because if you know the history of the brand, then you know that these were actually a spin-off of a one-of-one. Now, there was a lot of feedback pertaining to this pair because a lot of guys said that I came out with the list too early, that I did the review too soon, that where would the remix would have ranked in the top 10. Now, if you guys had paid attention to the three major concepts that me and I Wear Diadoras came up to actually configure that top 10 list, this pair definitely would have been left out, I'm sorry to say. It does have two of the three major components, which is materials and execution. But the one thing it lacked was the number one thing on that list, and it was originality. Diadora had actually made this pair for the designer, and they rewarded him for the great work that he did that very first golden year, 2014. Now, the Remix was supposedly a pair dedicated to the most authentic Diadora fans. And it was also the last limited edition release for the brand's 70th anniversary. Now, the reason I say supposedly, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys, fall in line with my theory here, or my train of thought. It was basically a quick strike of hyper release. I mean, no real info was given out. I mean, you had a couple of teaser pics and a couple of leak pics here and there. No links were given, no information released. I mean, it was just a shot in the dark. Like, if you knew about it, you knew about it. If not, then you missed. And it was sad to hear that because, again, I know a lot of fans in the Diadora community, authentic Diadora fans, who really missed out on this pair. And the feedback that I got from them after the release was the same feeling that I got for the Corey Foes. I really don't want to discuss the details behind this or the backstory. This pair has a lot of backstory, trust me, but we're not even going to touch on that because it's all about the sneakers in 2019. Like I said, with the old and with the new. That being said, we're going to jump straight into the release for this pair. The Remix N9000 by Diadora Official via the 48th floor. Here I have the right shoe in hand. Both shoes differentiate from one another, so we're going to start with the right shoe. Here on the toe wrap, you can see it in that premium golden brown pigskin suede. Nice touch. Old school mesh. I like that golden color. Then here on the lace double, you can see it's in that red kangaroo leather. Coming into the lateral side on the quarter panel, it's all that premium royal blue mesh, the Diadora logo, and that smoke gray. Then you have that hit on the overlay, which is the blue. Coming up on the lace ramp, you can see it in that teal. So here coming across the heel counter, you can see it in that premium pigskin suede. It's like a jade green almost. N9000 embroidered right here on the side. Diadora embroidered in that navy blue on the heel counter. Coming up on the Achilles counter, you can also see it in that smoke gray. Then you have the charcoal gray sitting on top of the smoke gray. Then you have that piping, that little hit of piping in that 3M coming over to the medial side. One side mirrors the other almost. Again, on that overlay, you have that hit of blue. Quarter panel, you have in that royal blue mesh and the Diadora logo and that smoke gray. All pigskin suede, premium. Then here on the lace ramp, you can also see it's that same on the opposite side and that teal. Now you're coming into the tongue area. On the tongue area, you can see it's that rough navy blue suede, but down into the throat area, it changes into a mesh. Now you're coming into the line, in the lining and the collar lining, you can see it in that nylon mesh going into the footbed. Last but not least, you have the checkered laces. Now coming down into the bottom of the shoe, you can see the red cap. Going into the midsole, you can see it's all white with that gold speckle. Then you have two triangles, one in red, one in blue, Diadora the Boss. And then you have that navy blue sole, and that sets it off for the right pair. Now, coming into the left shoe, as always, starting from the front to the back. On the toe wrap, you can see it in that aqua teal color. Then on the old school mesh, you can see it's like a navy blue. The lace double is in that white kangaroo leather coming onto the lateral side. You can see the upper is in that golden mesh color. The Diadora logo also in that gold premium pigskin suede. Then you have the overlay in that smoke color. Coming into the heel counter, the same as the toe wrap. It's in that premium aqua teal pigskin suede. Here on the side, N9000 embroidered in white. On the heel counter, you can see Diadora embroidered in white as well. Working our way up into the Achilles counter, you can see the two different hits of kangaroo leather. One in red, one in yellow. And that piping in the red 3M. Now you're coming over to the medial side. Same thing mirrors the other side. You have the golden mesh on the quarter panel. The Diadora logo is in that golden brown pigskin suede. So here in that overlay, you can see it in that premium pigskin suede. And going into the lace ramp, you can see it's in that baby blue kangaroo leather. Nice little touch, little contrast hit right there. Now we coming into the tongue area, you can see it's predominantly all red kangaroo leather. Diadora right there on the top part. But when it comes into the throat area, you can see it switches into that navy blue mesh. Now we coming into the inside, you can see the collar lining and that teal nylon mesh going all the way down into the footbed. And as always, you can see the pair numbered here on the inside part of the tongue. Number 184 out of 285 checking in. And last but not least, orange stock laces that came with the pair. Now we going into the bottom part. Same as the right pair. The left pair has that red toe cap. Going into the midsole, you can see it's all predominantly white with the gold speckles. Then you have the two triangles, one in red, one in navy blue, and the navy blue outsole. Okay, so there you have it for that review of the N9000 Remix. And I was actually asked the question the other day, where would you rate this pair? Honestly, like, you want me to be completely honest? I was like, yeah, give you a strong 7. His jaw dropped. He was like, what are you talking about? I showed him the video to the top 10. He was like, I know exactly what you mean now. So like, again, it has everything going in his favor. Execution, materials were dope. I can't knock everything about this new except for one thing, the originality. You guys know, then you know. And that's the main reason why this pair, the Remix, would not have made Eyewear Diadora's top 10 of 2018. I'm sure a lot of you guys had it ranked high, but that's your personal taste, I guess. And as always, Eyewear Diadora's nessun clamore è un estilo de vita. 2019, we setting up originality in the sense that Diadora actually had made this pair for the designer. And as always, Eyewear Diadora's, it's no hype. It's a lifestyle.